Hey there everyone. So for this week's video I wanted to talk a bit about some of the ideas that you get in your mind when you're going through the throes of an eating disorder, and the one that I'd like to talk to you about today is one that is very common, and I do remember people speaking quite a lot about it in the group therapies that I was doing, and it's this concept of being thin enough so that you can put your hand around your wrist, or even further. This, for some reason, is very, very common, and I admit it's something that I used to do. And when I brought it up in a group therapy session, a lot of people seemed to be talking about it as a sort of gauge of how thin you're getting, in addition to the weighing that you're doing all the time. Because I certainly didn't believe the scales a lot of the time. I was like, no, I can't be that small. So I check myself. I check in the mirror, and I always check my wrist. So what can be done about this? Because I know that it does create a large amount of anxiety for you, because your body changes all the time. If you have a drink, you take on fluid. Therefore, your hand might not go all the way around your wrist. Sometimes you may have a particularly salty meal, and in that case, you definitely accumulate fluid. So not only will your weight potentially go up, but you may not be able to put your hand around your wrist, but this is all just water weight. It's things that will disappear very, very quickly. So by setting yourself these goals, it does create an extra layer of anxiety that it's something you really do not need if you are trying to recover. So the best thing that you can do is primary prevention. Don't start doing it, because if you don't start doing it, you're not going to have the anxiety to carry on doing it. And that's the most important thing, because as you get worse with an eating disorder, you just take on more behaviors that at the time you think, oh, it's not too much of an issue, it's just one more thing. But if you have like 10 things, it's a lot. It is a lot, but you don't really notice it if you're just accumulating them slowly. So I really advise that you don't start doing it if you haven't already, because if you haven't, you won't feel the need to, like, as strong as if you had started. Now, one of the things that I did that I found very helpful when I was in Rhodes Farm a long time ago is that I bought one of these, what do you call them, sweatbands. You can put them on your wrist, and by doing that, it makes my wrist bigger already, so I won't be able to do that. And so, this is a kind of secondary prevention. It's stopping you from doing it after you have already started doing it. And this is, there are many different kinds of things that people do. For example, when you're trying to stop biting your nails, people put something on their nails and it tastes awful, so they bite it and it stops them from doing it. By doing this, it stopped me from checking my wrist all the time. And the downside of this is that people in Rhodes Farm thought that I was self-harming underneath the wristband, but I just showed them and it was completely clean. But if you would find that useful, then by all means, try it. Other things that you could do, wearing jumpers, those kinds of things, just to stop you from doing it, because it is very important that you do try and get rid of these behaviours while you're receiving treatment, because by doing it there, you've got the safety net there if things go wrong, or if you just want your therapist to talk to you, because you will have these scheduled appointments, and you can talk about strategies to help deal with each and every one of your problems in turn, so that by the time that you leave the inpatient facility, you may not have gotten rid of everything, you may not have gotten rid of anything, but you have a plan in place to start doing these things. And that is really, really important, because without a plan, the eating disorder can take a hold again, because it's very abstract otherwise. You're just trying to do things spur of the moment without any real idea of how you're going to be doing them. And that is a key weakness that the eating disorder will exploit. So yeah, you could try doing that, and I hope that you do find that helpful. If you have any ways that you have overcome doing this, then please share it in the comment section below, because I'm sure that other people will find your suggestions very useful. The other obvious thing that you can do, and I've said it many times, is not only to let your therapist know, but also your family, your friends, to say, this is the thing that I do, and if you do see me doing it, then you've just got to tell me to stop. Because a lot of these eating disorder behaviours, if you know that someone is watching it's one of two things could happen. You would stop doing it out of fear of being watched, but the other thing that you could do is doing it, hiding it in a way. But if you are in a more stronger mindset at that period of time and you are willing to accept change, then I hope that you do conform to the former, because it is important that you do try and get rid of these behaviours, and the more help that you have, the more likely you are to be successful. So yeah, I mean, I hope this video has been helpful. I know it's certainly a very prominent thing with people with eating disorders. So yeah, I hope that my suggestion has been helpful, and I hope that if you do try it, that you do share your experience in the comment section below or with me, because I am happy to receive messages from you guys. It's great to hear from you. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful, but for now, thanks for watching.